Alright, AP Latin. So since we've missed a couple of days from the hurricane that didn't actually hit Charlottesville, I'm going to try to do this flip classroom style, and in a second you'll see the text, and then I will kind of talk over it and try to guide you through. So watch this to prepare. Okay, I'll start by reading the Latin and then explain things as we go. So it starts out, Nate quis indomitas tantus dolor excitat iras, quid furis, aut quonam nostri tibi cura recessit. So remember, this is Venus, and she is talking to Aeneas just at the moment that he has seriously contemplated murdering Helen, whom he's seen defenseless and all by herself. Remember we talked about how Helen is a bit of a problematic figure for Venus because a lot of this mess of the Trojan War can kind of be traced back to the judgment of Paris, and Venus essentially using Helen as a bribe to get Paris to pick her over the other goddesses, and then, of course, that means that Helen gets stolen from Menelaus, taken over to Troy, and then the Greeks come and besiege Troy for 10 years to get her back. Alright, so this is Venus addressing Aeneas, saying, Child, what grief so great strikes up your inconquerable hatred? So quis tantus dolor goes together, excitat, rouses, spurs, your indomitas iras. So those words go together. Quid furis, why are you raging? Or perhaps, what are you raging at? Either way, quid can often be translated why. But out, quo nam nostri tibi cura recessit, or quo nam, the nam here probably just intensifying the quo, that quo being the to where, whither. So to where has cura nostri, care for me, care for, literally for us, but probably Venus here, care of me. So to where has care of me recessit, literally receded, where has it gone back to? Tibi, for you. So where has your love of me, where has your care for me gone away to? Okay, so moving on from here, non prius aspici eis ubi fescitat parentem liqueris anchisen superet conjunx necreusa ascaniusque puer. So notice the tense of aspici eis with that e making it future. So will you not first look upon where you left, liqueris, where you left, perfect subjunctive, anchisein, you left anchises, your parentum, your father, your parent, fessum aitate, tired with age. Superet conjunx necreusa ascaniusque puer. So, and the question continues here. Notice the ne at the end of conjunx, marking another indirect question after the aspicies, whether your wife Creusa and your boy Ascanius survive. So she asks him, will you not first, instead of killing her, look to your family, Anchises, Creusa, and your son Ascanius. So maybe a little diversion here to keep him from murdering Helen. And for that last one, just note that your multiple choice question 22, the best answer there is A. Okay, so finishing out this little piece, quos omnis, or you might have quos omnes, undeque grae circum erant acies et ni mea cora resistat, jam flammad tulerent inimicus et hauseret ensis. So, quos omnis, all of whom, undeque, on all sides, the grae acies, the Greek battle lines, circum erant, wander around, surround, so whom the Greek battle lines surround, wander around on all sides, and ni mea cura resistat, if my love, if my care, ni for nisi, should not hold them back, that should not resist, yam, already, the flames tulerent would carry them away, would take them, and the inimicus et hauseret ensis. Notice et here, inimicus et, is really like inimicus que, and the inimicus ensis, the hostile, the enemy sword, hauseret. So a pretty powerful image there from the verb to drink down or drain. So the enemy sword would already have drained them. So unless I was taking care of them, they would be dead. You need to go back and take care of business, is her message here. Okay, so moving on up to 601 here. These first line and a half, probably missing a form of to be, maybe sit, let be. Non tibi tin dare disfacies in visa lacaina colpatus veparis divum inclementia divum. So probably something like let not. So let not the face of Lacainae Tyndaridis, of the Spartan daughter of Tyndareus, i.e. Helen, let her not be hateful to you, or culpatus Paris, or let Paris be to blame. And now Venus basically tells him that this is the will of the gods. There's nothing to be done about it. Divum inclementia, divum. So the hostility, the lack of mercy on the part of the gods. Divum for dior. I've noticed it twice, so extremely emphatic. So the inclementia divum, evertet has opes, has overturned these riches. Sternit qua culmine Troiam, has laid low Sternit. Troiam a culmine, has laid low Troy from its height. So for the multiple choice questions, 23 through 26, we had resistat. After that, ni for nisi, that was a present subjunctive in the condition, probably like a should-would condition, kind of like a contrary to fact. Tendaridis, that's just a patronymic. Divum, we mentioned, is for divorum, a genitive plural. And inclementia is the nominative subject of both a wertit and sternit in the next line. Okay, moving on now to 604. Aspece nam quam nem quae nunc abducta tuenti mortalis, you might have mortalis ebetat visus tibet ed circum caligat nuberripiam tu nequa parentis usa time neo praeceptis parere recusa. So, look, Venus tells him, for omnem nubim eripiam. So notice we're jumping a couple of lines there. Namque omnem nubim eripiam. Those things all hang together, so it's best just to translate them together. For namque. Remember, que on a nam just means for. There's no special meaning. It's just nam or namque, same thing. For eripiam omnem nubim. I will rip away all of the cloud. The cloud quae, which nunc abducta, now set in your way, now having been led in your way, tuenti, take that with the tibi tuenti, for you looking, right, which now in your way to you looking, habitat mortalis visus, weakens, impairs your mortalis visus, your mortal vision, and caligat, blocks, or impairs something around with its moisture. Tu ne qua parentis usa time. So you ne time, do not fear. Qua usa, remember after si nisi numem ne, all the alleys go away. So aliqua usa. So you do not fear any commands of your mother, of your parent. Neo, or don't, recusa parere praeceptis, don't refuse to obey her instructions, her praeceptis. And the recusa there, asking about in the multiple choice questions, that is just an imperative, same as time. Okay, so with the mist taken away from his eyes, heek here, where you see the heaps torn apart, and saxa, awolsa saxi, so stones ripped apart with stones, and fumum, and smoke, undantem, billowing, moving like a wave, something like that, with pulvere mixto, with dust mixed in. And for your multiple choice question there in 609, since you've got mixto, udantem, pulvere, fumum, mixto goes with pulvere, udantem goes with fumum, just an interlocking word order or synthesis there. Neptunus muros magno quae mota tridenti fundamenta quatitotam qua sedibus orbem eruit. Hic uno sciasae vissima portas prima tenet sociumque furens a navibus agmen ferro a cincta vocat. Alright, so here where you see the stones being ripped apart, Neptune is shaking the walls, quatit muros, and the fundamenta and the foundations, a mota, moved by his magno tridenti, by his great trident, and he eruit, he topples the totam orbem a sedibus. So he destroys the whole city from its seats, from its foundations again. So that's over here, Hic over here. Juno, saevissima, the most fierce. Prima, and remember the difference in primum, the adverb, and prima here is the adjective. So Juno, prima tenet. A good way to handle that is Juno is the first to hold. So Juno is the first to hold the Skyas portas, the Skyan gates, and foreigns, raging. She acincta ferro, girt, dressed, equipped with a sword, acincta ferro, calls her socium agmen, her allied battle line, a navibus, from their ships. So Juno here is seen as leading the Greeks herself right through the gates in battle. And for multiple choice, 611, that que and totam que is just linking both clauses completely, so it's quatit and eruit that are being connected by the que there. Iam sumas arces Tritonia respice palas, insedit nimbe fulgens et gorgones aewa. So now, Tritonia Pallas, a Tritonian Minerva, insedit sumas arces. So she sits upon the top of the citadels. Behold, respice. Effulgens nimbo. Effulgens, yeah, probably shooting out lightning from the cloud. And she gorgones saewa, so fierce with the gorgon. Her armor actually had the head of Medusa attached to the front of it, so a pretty formidable enemy. If you just looked at Minerva when she was in her battle gear, you would turn to stone. So she is savage with the gorgon head, Medusa, right there on her breastplate. Ipse pater Danais animos virisque secundus sufficit. So ipse pater, so the father himself, that's Jupiter, the father of the gods, sufficit animos virisque secundus. Remember, vires is not men, that is strength. So he supplies them animos, their spirit, and secundus viris, so favorable strength to the Greeks. And he himself suscitat deos in Dardana arma. So he spurs on the gods against Trojan arms. So even Jupiter himself now has pretty much given up on the Trojans. He is spurring the gods to go ahead and let the Trojans have it. And once again, for your multiple choice questions, effulgens there is just modifying Pallas or Minerva. Gorgona, as I mentioned, is the Gorgon. The main Gorgon is Medusa, and her head is part of Athena's armor, or Minerva's armor. And in Dardana arma, so Dardanian is Trojan. Okay, right here at the end, Erepe nate fugam finem quem pone labore, nus quaberet tutum patriote limine sistam. Let's see, so first, let's start with the scansion. We've got a couple of elisions to look out for, nous quaber, and then the O at the end gets elided, so just nous quaberet. And one more little metrical thing to look out for, patrio is short, long. That TR is a mute plus liquid, so it doesn't make the A long by position, so just patrio, short, long. So the first 4 feet come out nous quaberet to tum patriote, and then limine sistam. So that's dactyl spandi. So nous quaberet to tum patriote. And then the cease time at the end there, just like abero, has to be future indicative, and so cease time can't be the present subjunctive there, which would be the other possibility with the form. So Venus finishes up here. O child, snatch away your escape and put an end to your labor. Nous quam abero, so nowhere, nous quam, like numquam. You could probably get away with calling it never, but nous quam is better translated. Nowhere, or on no occasion, perhaps, will I be apart from you, and I will place you sistam te tutum, safe, on the threshold of your father, your patrio limine. And so Venus has managed to reassure Aeneas while at the same time diverting his mind and attention away from his desire to murder Helen. So that's it. I'll see you tomorrow.